Namaste and welcome. Listen, if you have a product or maybe you have your own business, then this is absolutely for you. Today we're going to talk about marketing, but a totally new and much simpler way to think about it. It's really not about just selling, selling, selling. It's about connecting.
So let me ask you a question. I am sure you've worked so hard, right? You've made a fantastic product and you're so proud of it. But for some reason, not enough people are buying it. Does that sound familiar? I'm sure it does. It's a very, very common problem, है ना?
And tell me, does your marketing sometimes feel just like this picture? You're putting in so much effort, so much hard work, so much pulling, but you're not really getting anywhere. The end result just feels a bit strange, right? Definitely not what you were hoping for. Okay, so what is going on here? What's the real issue? Look, most of the time, the problem isn't your product at all. It's how we've been taught to think about marketing. The old way was always be selling. But the new mantra, the one that really works today, is always be connecting. So how do we actually start connecting? Well, let's look at a really simple map for this whole journey. It's called the customer funnel. So what exactly is this funnel? It's actually very simple. Just think of it like making a new friend. You wouldn't ask for a big favor the very first time you meet someone, would you? Of course not. First, you say hello, maybe you have a nice chat, you get to know each other, you build some trust. A customer's journey with you is exactly like that. And you know what? We can break this whole journey down into just 3 very simple stages. Super easy to remember. First up, awareness. This is just where they find out you even exist. Second is trust. This is the part where they actually start to like you and believe in what you're saying. And finally, the third stage is the sale itself. This happens only when they feel comfortable enough to actually buy from you.
All right, so let's start with step 1, Pehchan Banao, or making people aware of who you are. Now, this is the very top, the widest part of the funnel. And here, your only goal is to make a really great first impression.
Just look at this number for a second. 96%. Wow. A study actually found that 96% of the people who visit your website for the very first time are, well, they're not ready to buy. Not at all. They're just exploring, just looking around. So think about it. If almost nobody is ready to buy, what do you think happens when you try to sell to them really hard? You just push them away, right? That's why your first job isn't to sell. It's just to make a genuine human connection. So then the question is, what's the best way to connect? Well, a major report from a big company, Ogilvy, says it very clearly. The path forward is realness. It means you have to be genuine, you have to be authentic, you have to be human. Here's a great example. Look at what Google does. Instead of making some boring ad about their phone's amazing camera, they show all the cool, creative things that real people are actually making with the phone. Like these beautiful bead necklaces here. See? It feels so much more personal and so much more real. So how can you be real? Simple. Stop trying to be perfect all the time. Honestly, perfection feels a bit fake, doesn't it? Instead, you should embrace the imperfect and just show the human side of your business and your work. Let's take Absolute Vodka, for example. They asked an artist to design a special bottle for them. But here's the cool part. Instead of just showing the perfect finished product, they actually showed the entire creative process. All the mess, the rough sketches, even the mistakes. This showed everything. And guess what happened? What was the result? Well, this simple chart says everything you need to know. The behind-the-scenes video, the one that showed the messy, real process, it got 4 times more views than the shiny professional photo of the final product. It just proves it, right? People love to see the real story. Okay, so people know you now. Great. What's the next step? It's Barossa Jito, winning their trust. Now we're moving into the middle of the funnel. So at this stage, your whole goal changes. It's not just about getting noticed anymore. Now you need to show them that you're not just trying to take their money. You have to prove that you are helpful, that you are knowledgeable, and that you are totally trustworthy. So how do you actually build this trust? It's actually quite simple. You just have to be genuinely useful. You could write helpful how-to guides or explain complicated topics in a really simple way. Share what you know for free. And of course, always answer their questions honestly. All right, so once you've made that connection and you've built that trust, we finally reach the last step, the actual sale. And here's the really powerful part. If you have done the first two steps correctly, this last step becomes so much easier. You don't need to push or sell hard at all. Your only job now is to remove any last-minute doubts that they might have. Okay, so let's put this all together in a simple way. At the top of the funnel, in the awareness stage, your goal is just to get noticed. The best way to do that? Short videos, social media posts. Then, in the middle, for trust, your goal is to educate and help. Things like blog posts or how-to guides work great here. And finally, at the bottom, for the sale, your job is to remove any doubt. This is where case studies or product demos are perfect.
So, we've gone through the entire journey, from top to bottom. Now, what's the one big idea, the one new mantra you should remember from all of this? It's this, right here. Your focus should be on building relationships, not just on making sales. Because when you make a genuine connection your main goal, the sales will follow. They really will. That's the secret. So I want to leave you with a question, a little bit of homework. After listening to all this, what is one real, authentic, maybe even a little bit imperfect story that you can share with your customers this week? Just think about it.
Thank you so much for your time today. Everything we talked about is based on some really great research and articles. So if you want to read those full articles that we used for this explainer, please just click on the link given below. Happy connecting!